Hey pizza fam, feeling a little fancy here in my collared shirt, changing up a little bit, but really I'm excited about, look at this thing, a giant duck egg. I was gifted this thing was out at the Alisal Ranch, one of the places I grew up, super rad place. And they have some ducks out there laying some rad eggs. We're gonna make it up on a pizza. I don't know if I'd call it a breakfast pizza. It does have sausage, bacon, some roasted peppers, all sorts of bomb stuff. It's good pizza. Let's get this thing stretched. I'll show you what it's all about. Popped my dough out of the tray and into a mix of semolina and flour here. I have my Ooni Pizza 16 tempering out over there. I did a nice fatty preheat, about 40 minutes till the center deck was about 900. Turned it down so the flame is just rolling across the top of it. That's what I like for that oven. For this one, duck egg pizza, feeling a little bit sketched on that. I think there's gonna be a lot of moisture on the pie, so never a good thing for your dough, but we'll get it done. We'll see, we'll try. We're doing it together here. I'm gonna start opening up the dough here. I'm gonna leave it not go super thin in the center. We have that duck egg going on there. So we want to make sure we have enough dough to rest that on. If it gets super thin, it can break, or it can just get a little bit too soggy there. And we like a no flop pizza. Look at that, starting to open up nicely. We're gonna keep a nice little crust on here, nothing too huge. I don't know if I call it thin crust or thick crust. I call it Santa Barbara Baker pizza. Getting it stretched, opening up even more here. I like to pick it up in my hands and just open up the dough ball a little bit. I'm gonna pop it back down on the marble, hit it with some flour on the bottom here. We'll flip it back over, opening it up, evening out the thickness of the dough. And for this one, like I was saying, we don't want to go super thin here. This is not the time where you're gonna go for your world record thin crust pizza. You're popping an egg on there, some other moist toppings. You definitely wanna be a little bit on the slightly thicker side, but this is looking really nice. I'm gonna make sure that the bottom is nicely floured. Look at that crust there. I feel is maybe even a little too big, so you can just push with my fingers here. I also have a wooden peel here. This is what I'm gonna load the pizza on. I'm also gonna build it on there. I can just flip this over. There's a bunch of flour and semolina there, so I'll just hit it one more time here on the peel. But we don't wanna dump a bunch of flour in the oven, so clean that off before you get it on there. Stretch it one more time onto our peel here. All right, I'm gonna get this cleared off and I'll go through your toppings. When I saw this duck egg, I knew I had to put it on a pizza. How I got there though, it took me a few days to figure it out, but I think I have something good going on here. We're gonna start off with our cheese. I have a mix of low moisture mozzarella here. It's full fat and part skim. I was debating on whether to use fresh. I feel like it might have just added too much moisture to it since we have that giant duck egg going on there. I have almost 4 ounces of mozz in the bowl here. I don't think I'm gonna use it all. Probably end up being in the 3.5 range. I feel like that's a good amount for a pizza of this size. Our dough ball, this is one of my recipe up on SantaBarbaraBaker.com. It's a 350 gram dough ball, but we kind of understretch it because we have these crazy toppings going on. By crazy, an egg's not all that crazy, but not one you see every day, especially a duck egg. So we understretch a little bit. I'd say there's maybe what, 13 inches here? Something like that. We don't keep track though. Okay, after this, let's go. Look at these guys, Farmer's Market. One of my favorites. These are actually sweet potatoes. Look at them, so super bomb. I fry them up gently in some olive oil till they're just kind of lightly crisp. They'll get crisped again in the oven. And these are really nice. Not too sweet, but just, I mean, they're just amazing potatoes. And why are they so good? I think because they're fresh. Shopping the farmer's market really can't go wrong. I don't make a full little, some people call it a raft or something. I don't know what the term is people come up with sometimes for these things. For a little donut hole in the center there for your egg, it can make the pizza too wet, I find, if you make that. So you just kind of leave a little spot but we don't want to make a big little volcano chimney there or anything. All right, here we go. Poblano peppers. These came from the farmer's market today too. Check them out though, they're red. The farmer just let these ones ripen a little bit more. Typically they're green. Roasted them up in the oven, peeled them, add them to the pizza. I tasted them. They have a little bit of heat today, not super hot. I think something spicier might even be a good choice. What else we have? These amazing little red onions. I roasted them up in the pizza oven. When you do it like that, they come out super sweet. So a lot of sweet flavors going on here. Finishing off, bacon can never go wrong on an egg pizza. Some local bacon here that I diced up. 2 meats today, got the bacon. And then also some local breakfast sausage. Thought that might be fun. I'm usually doing like some form of Italian sausage on there, but I feel like something more like a classic breakfast sausage could be really fun here. I like to do the sausage raw. We're gonna go for a little bit longer bake here, so it has plenty of time to cook in the oven. That way your sausage doesn't overcook and dry out. And it adds the, as it renders down on the pizza, it brings a lot of delicious flavors. Looks really nice. We'll crumble up a little bit more sausage here. I'm gonna get my hands cleaned off. We'll back up, we'll crack this egg. The moment of truth here with the duck egg. Cracking this on the pizza is definitely making me a bit nervous. There's different ways to do eggs on a pizza. If I'm doing a smaller egg, sometimes I like to add it midway through the bake. But here I'm gonna focus. Hopefully we can get this thing on here and not make a big mess and keep the yolk in one spot. Wish me luck. Look at that, a fatty duck egg on there. Super bomb. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of salt and pepper. We'll get this thing loaded up. It looks absolutely amazing. Got our duck, egg, sausage, bacon, pepper. We got the ranch breakfast on here, ready to load in our Ooni 16. I just checked the center deck. It was a little bit under 750, really good for this one. Temperature out front reading about 500, but we're not too concerned about that one. Just gonna easily slide this thing off, looking really nice. Yolk still intact, all things we want to see. Might crank up the heat here a little bit, or we could roll a little bit more over the top because we want to make sure that duck egg cooks. We want the whites to cook all the way through, but we're hoping for a molten yolk. So we might play around with the flame a little bit as we bake to make sure it doesn't get completely nuked. That'll be maybe on this one. We won't go for the flop check. We'll still do that, but we'll definitely do an egg yolk check. I don't know, always tripping. Can be hard to nail, but we'll try and get it done. Wow, look at the dough today, puffing up really nicely. You can see the egg starting to set a bit. Maybe we'll turn it down just slightly. We have that sausage and bacon in there. We put those both on raw. When you do that, you want to give a little bit longer time in the oven, allow it to bake through, cook the sauce. No one wants to eat raw sausage. Raw bacon, if it's bomb, you can kind of snack on that. Sausage though, I wouldn't do that. Looking really nice. All right, I think I'm gonna go in for a first turn here because I see already some crust maybe even starting to burn back there. Oven is really hot. Turn it around here. Look at that. Looking really nice. Oh, hopefully not knocking over the tripod there. So far, so good. Too big of a bubble there. I think that was a mistake on the stretch. Like, you don't want a bubble that big. That looks too big. I could have just pushed that down a little bit as I was stretching. I think I'm gonna turn this down just slightly. I wanna make sure that sausage cooks all the way through. We don't want this to be, we're not looking for 60-second pizza here. We wanna enter the no flop zone. That's where we're headed. Give it a turn here. Wow, look at that. Oh man, I don't know, the top of that yolk looks like it might have already been a little bit overcooked. I mean, a duck egg, a little bit tricky. Have the flame crawling across the top there, skimming the top of that egg yolk, cooking through a bit. I just thought if you crack it midway, think the whites would just be too wet on there. And I don't really like just, you know, uncooked egg whites on a pizza. Maybe some people do, not me, but look at that browning up really nice. I think we might be getting close here. Checking the bottom. Wow, really good. All right, this is looking really nice. This is totally weird. I don't know if you guys can catch it on there. It's like the top part of the egg is like overcooked set. Maybe it's just because it's a big fat duck egg. We'll check it out when it comes out. But look at the browning here, looking really nice. This thing's probably almost done. Take a look here. A little bit more browning on that back part. See the bottom of the pizza? The bottom actually looks a little bit light. Browning on the crust all around looks really good. So if that's the case, crust looks brown, top maybe needs a little bit longer. I turn it all the way down. But I think we're about finished here. We don't want to burn this one. We want to pass our egg yolk check here. Oh, look at that. See that big bubble? I spun it around there in the back and look at that. No bueno on that. Definitely burnt there. Rookie move for sure. But no big because we're just making pizza at home. Look at the bottom here. We'll finish this up right now. Look at that. You guys can get a glimpse of the giant bubble there. That's definitely, you know, the amateur move there. You can do that stretching. You see that? You can either pop it, end up with kind of a hole in the crust, or I like to just kind of work the air out of it a little bit more. Distribute it back into the dough if you can. Well, I see a little bit of egg white jumping around there, but I think we're just about finished. I'm feeling it. The duck, egg, sausage, ranch pizza, whatever you want to call it. It's not quite breakfast. It's not quite lunch. It's not even dinner. It's amazing pizza. And I think it's done. Hopefully we have a little bit of life left in that yolk, picking this thing up. Wow, look at that pizza. Amazing. Can you guys see the bottom at all? It looks pretty nice to me. That giant, ridiculous bubble, but it'll be okay. Gonna let it set on the rack here. Let it hang out for about a minute. We'll slice it up and see how we did. Well, fam, I'm thinking we did it. I mean, this giant, ridiculous bubble, but an egg pizza, a giant duck egg, cooked up like this, baked up so nice. I think we're stoked for sure on this thing. Look at that bake. I love this browning here, really bomb. We'll see the duck egg, maybe a little overcooked on top. Let's put it down on the tray, see if we pass the molten egg check. That's our new one. We're gonna do a little flop check and the molten check. And it'll slice right through that bubble. So maybe we won't even notice it as much. We're going in. All right, the moment of truth. Wow, look at that thing. It's looking, can you guys see it? And just oozing out the juice, the yolk, the molten yolk, and a little bit cooked through there too, which we like. And it looks like maybe a little bit of uncooked white. What can you do? Didn't reach perfection, but overall pretty stoked. Let's see this thing. The duck egg ranch pizza. Duck egg kicked down from Alisal Ranch. Stoked on that. And look at this thing with the roasted onions. Our potatoes we fried up in a little bit of oil. Poblanos, red. Let them get a little bit ripe. Roasted those things up too. And I couldn't resist. I finished it off with some basil. Let's see what can it pick up. Can a slice pick up the flop check? Oh my God. Wow. With the molten yolk. Look at that, guys. Just oozing out there and the slice still holds. That's the dough and that's the proper bake. The Santa Barbara bake there on your Ooni. Learn it and you get the job done. Let's get this thing in it. Let's get in it. It's not breakfast. It's not lunch. But wow, this thing is just a full-on party any time of the day. I'm really digging on this one. The breakfast sausage, I don't usually do that on a pizza. So that does bring the breakfast vibe, but bacon we have any time of the day. A little kick from those poblanos, not too much. Man, I forgot the Calabrians we were talking about. I might hit it after or kick it up another notch. Check this thing out. The bake looks unreal on this. Stoked on it. Maybe a little bubble there, but who's going to remember that? what I'm going to remember is cooking up an amazing duck egg pizza, and I love you all. One love.